Heai. Welcome to the 20th BOH Cameronian Arts Award on set. Today with me are the nominees of Best Set or and Visual Design in Dance. We have Pui May, Cheng, and Chee Heai with us here. What are some of the story themes in your production?
Our show is called Laluan Amaryllis still. It was commissioned by the KL and Selangor Kwangtung Associations in conjunction with an 85th anniversary. So it explores themes of migration, but we didn't want to focus on migration of just the Chinese. Our director, Liew Lai, was brought in, and he just wanted to make it universal and timeless. So he decided to explore migration from just, well, I would say from the human experience, but also anything, the movement of plants.
More like human migration.
Not necessarily humans, but just the movement of things, the movement of ideas. I guess movement in general, but specific to humans also, he also explores things like common struggles, things that we've seen in the past, which are still happening today. There are many, many themes, which I guess I'll talk more about it later.
Okay. What about you guys, Chee Heai? What are the main theme behind the production?
My one is called Tabula Rasa 2024. This one, they have 4 different shows.
Yeah, it's a mixed bill.
Mixed bill, yes. yeah. So I have to think to different story, different concept.
Did you design for all the mixed bills or just a few?
I design all of them.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
So it's quite challenging to how to use different corner to build up different things. We do it in the mission to changing the view of the background. Everything is quite challenging for me, I think.
But is there a particular theme or there's several themes? Because it's a mixed bill, it's hard to have one solid theme, I suppose. Would that be correct?
There one production, but different group of performances to perform at the day.
Okay. Okay. What about your production, Liew Chee?
For my case, it's about craft. Because Beijing, she started a workshops event across 9 months, but she approached me like 3 weeks before the performance. So because what she tried to archive is the lost craft that, the bamboo,
the rattan craft.
Yeah. So she knew that I was into bamboo architectures and I did like installation. So she invited me to be part of this performance. So
your background is architecture.
Yes,
wow.
yes. So I was focusing on bamboo architecture and I did a bit of installation and R&D on bamboo craft. And then she knew me, like she know that I did things about craft. Then she invited me to be part of that performance because it's somehow aligned with her vision of archiving. Because Beijing, she archive a certain movement, she put it into the performance, and she used this type of method to show to the public like how can we appreciate art and craft. So from my point of view, it's art and craft.
Describe your set and the approach behind your work, your design, especially on the space that was given to you.
It was a very site-specific products because when I got the brief, I was thinking like how can I design something that relate back to go down, but I still preserve a bit of craft. So I look at the plans. I realized go down, they have some sexy curve, but they also have straight lines. So I was thinking, how can I incorporate these lines into that sets? Then from there, I probably build a model. I get some bamboo sticks and then build like a mini model and I sketch something. I show to them and then they say, wow, it's good. And then along the way, when we try to do the installation and then another artist came in, so we're talking about collaborations. Because from my point of view, I feel like I'm only provide a platforms that platforms should incorporate with different mediums. So the artist who came from Singapore, she did like fabric upcycling workshops. And then we invite those refugees from schools and those B40 groups to be part of the weavings. So we incorporate that public's works into that platforms. So it's, from my point of view, I appreciate the idea of art should not just be an expression of an individual. It should be like I provide something, and then the person who perceive or the person who will interact with the piece, they complete the piece.
How challenging was it, like Chee Hai's production, where actually the whole scene, the audience moved around, you know? And yours also, I realized that the audience had to move around the whole space. Was it challenging to do? Because, you know, some audience, they don't listen to you. They just want to do whatever they want to do because they are audience, right? So I realized that also you guys have a device somehow, sort of like direct the audience flow. Was that challenging for you?
It was a very spontaneous decision. Because we're thinking about the go down is a bit tight, and then we have to like guide the audience from location A to location B. And then,
sequentially.
And then from that point in Beijing, I think someone who came up with the idea, why don't we build a boat? Because the inspiration for the installation is come from a quote from an uncle. Rattan's, I forgot, is Rattan love or scared fire, and then something. It's about fire and water. So we try to get that kind of idea, and then even you look at the installation, it's a bit wavy, right? Because it was inspired from the wave. And then from there, the water, we have a boat. So it's like sailing across the wave. And then from there, we get the idea of building a bamboo boat to guide the audience around the installation. Yeah, and then we did try a bit like R&D, like how can we use rattan and bamboo, because it's quite huge. Then we have to make sure that when people carry, it won't collapse. Then we R&D on the joints and how we build the boat.
I see in Go Down, they have no place for you hanging, and you can't build on the wall. Right?
Yeah, I cannot.
How you hanging everything's like the structure like a way.
The initial idea, I thought I can just hang from the ceiling because I saw so many trusses, so many.
High.
Yeah, it looks like roof. I thought it's the steel roof truss. Then when I go to the site and they told me, oh no, it's just plywood. And then oh shit, I was like, oh my god, then how should I do it? So I observe on the site. I realized they have like structures at the walls. And then I just play with the structures that they have.
And also different level. She was doing different level that it felt, it's more like a wave movement because of different level.
A lot of adjustment on the tension to get that final outcome.
And also because they are freestanding, so they do sway and move a little bit as well.
So you have to adjust.
That works.
Adjust from different point of view. You look at this direction, you think, oh, it's okay. Then you go to here, it's not okay. I have to go back and adjust again. And then from here, adjust, and I check again here. Oh, it's okay. Then I leave it. It's like a bit of back and forth, a lot of back and forth process.
For still also, there are some sort of wavy movement going on at the beginning, right? Am I right?
Well, the waves were actually generated more by lighting.
Yes,
so that was very beautiful.
That's the illusion of it as well. Yeah. So it's not much of a set design. But there was a lot of usage of sacks of earth and things like that. I see the dancer were moving that and carrying that. Can you tell us a bit what the significance of that?
Yeah, I guess the biggest visual element were the sandbags. And it was mainly because Liew, our director, he initially wanted there to be a lot of soil on stage. Because this is about migration and movement, it's about people being rooted to land and being displaced for whatever reason.
Also tanah air.
Yes, exactly, tanah air, or how you develop a new home. People move, they find new places. Trees move, they grow roots in a new place. So a lot of it is interlinked with soil, but soil is a logistics nightmare, right? The production team, they looked at many different kinds of soil, so it turns out there are many different kinds of soil that children play with that can clump together, that don't leave crumbs, many different things, but it's very expensive. So they explored different possibilities, and they were almost going to buy 2 tons of soil from China. I mean, some kind of synthetic material, right? But director suddenly pulled the plug, and he's like, oh no, this is going to be a nightmare because after rehearsal, dancers have to clear the soil and there's no space to store it during the whole rehearsal process of more than 6 months. So then we went back to the drawing board, and then Passion noticed that in one of the earlier mood boards that she presented, there was a photo of sandbags, and she presented this idea, and then the more they thought about it, the more it made sense, because sandbags also offer much richer visual imagery. It can be a burden, but it could also be a bag of treasures. It can be a wartime bunker, or it could be a protective barrier against soil erosion.
So it gives more
imaginative
imagination
space.
to imaginative space.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering also, because why would they white? Because I was thinking that it will make sense if it's gunny sack. Right, but now that you explain, it actually makes sense, because if it's a gunny sack, straight away we know it's about
it's limited.
It's limited to a certain era as well. So, but with a white sand thing, it have opened up more imagination. Oh, okay. Do you prefer to have the visual design guide the audience, or leave it open ended? Like just now, if I use gunny sack, I guide an audience to a certain era, certain style. But now with the white sandbag, it's more open-ended, you see. So which one do you prefer?
Open. Prefer open-ended.
You prefer open-ended.
Yeah.
In what sense? Can you elaborate?
Because when I was doing the design, if you look at my initial and my final design, it was a bit different. So along the journey when we did the installation, and then when I was on the site, I feel like something is like not right, and I have to go back, and then we discuss on the site like how should we do it. And then from there we conclude that it should leave it as the way that we see on the set. It was a bit different from what I imagined initially. So, and then also the audience that came in, they did all the weaving, and then when we have the products from the public, now I use that products and I put it on top, and then we test like how should we put it on, and then also discuss how should we do it. Now I feel like we don't have a rigid plans, but we walk along what do we have. So I think if we open out for options, it brings more sparks.
What about you, Chee Heai? Because I see you as a very organic designer in that sense, because you play with whatever available, whatever is in hand, and you create it instantly like that. When you have a stage where if you're restricted in terms of your movement, how do you go about dealing with that challenges?
As a set designer, I have to think about many dimensions, not only for my idea, want to show what to do, but I think about the audience size, think about the performance, think about the whole concept. So I'm quite open for this.
Okay, good.
Even with fashion, Liew Chee mentioned something about how she wants art to be, co-created, right? She creates a platform and then they participate. So for Laluan Amaryllis, still, even from the beginning, it was a very kind of open-ended theme, and we present something on stage using very basic materials, and it's up to the audience to meet us halfway. And sometimes what they come up with will actually surprise the creative team. So
what they imagine, what they saw in the whole production.
Might not be what we initially started out with, but it just enriches the experience.
Yeah. That was what I'm after.
I'm also thinking about the audience, how they make them more comfortable. Not only you make them come here for making shuffling, to how to walk, how to enter. It's also my concepts.
I've seen a lot of performances or a production where we require audience to move around because the stage are evolving and organically as well. Do you think this is the current trend, or do you think that this is how set design is going to go, or you think that it's actually didn't help the production because some audience, they just like to go and sit at one place and just not moving. Because I do see some people stubbornly not moving at all in the audience. What do you think?
But I think finally they will move. They will see everybody move. They will move.
They follow the crowd, right?
They follow the crowd.
I think it's up to what the creators want to make and present. Yeah.
And the performers also know how to do something with the space, with the audience around. they know how to adjust their movement in this case.
I'm not too sure if this is the future trend because I'm quite new in the industry. So I don't know how things run before. Because when I was like into the industry, the performance I went is quite interactive. So maybe it is the future trend.
Were there any technical challenges in implementing visual into your production? Can you share that with us?
Like I mentioned before, it's like how to adjust the right angles. There's a very funny story about the installation that I did because when we considered done with the bamboo installation, and then the guide he came in, asked me, sudah siap kah? I said sudah. Belum siap leh. You know, the expectation between him and me is a bit different. So there is a lot of technicality like what I mentioned before. When we find out that we cannot use that, we cannot use this, then we have to find out a way to use that to achieve what we have. And then it's a bit of R&D process because I believe like all the set designers, when they did a performance set, they have to consider the site context. Context is always the one that gives us a lot of headaches because we don't know what we can do on site. Then we only know when we were there. So from there we have to think like how to do it according to what we plan and what we have, because budget is a huge
limiting factor.
Yes, it's a factor. It's a huge factor. So what can we play with that limited budget? And then we cannot spend a lot more. If I spend too much, then if I cannot get money to sustain myself, then it's not healthy for everyone. I think this is the biggest challenges: budget and the site context constraint.
Really? For all of you, which part of the design are you most proud of and why?
I think for this piece, what Passion really did very well was to create something out of imagination. And because our director is a very, very detailed person, but he also thinks a lot and has different inspiration from all over. And he's constantly thinking and constantly evolving his vision and the concept. I mean, of course, there's a core team, but there's just a lot of possibilities.
Who's the director?
Liew Lai. Yeah. So, when in the initial stages, when they were talking about it, I mean, migration itself is very abstract, right? I mean, you could do everything from building an actual boat to having nothing on the stage. So I think in the end, they settled on the sandbags. They captured so many different visual elements. And then there was one scene where the dancers were just throwing the bags. I mean, if it's a sandbag, it would be heavy, right? But in this particular scene, they're just throwing it quite easily, but it also symbolized like letting go of frustration or like challenges. Yeah. And then another thing that there was a big flag at the end. Some people saw a flag. Some people saw a map. Some people saw something completely different.
I saw a map, and
that's not incorrect.
The map also looked like a scanner.
Yes, it's not incorrect. Many possibilities. And also a net. Did you see a net?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a bit like a safety net. The security provided by nationhood, but is it really secure? Yeah. Exactly. So it asks a lot of questions, and then somehow they managed to find a meeting point between all these ideas and someone who's trying to create something out of nothing. So I thought that was very nice.
I like that creating something out of nothing for set design. Yeah, that's very, very fun. So that's all we have for today. And thanks everyone for watching. I will see you next time.